Hello everybody, welcome back to Reaper Minis TV. Thanks to everyone who watched the first Warlord battle report that we put out. I am working on another one and in the preliminary stages right now, so working on getting two army lists together and getting figures painted up and everything. So the next battle report will feature 1,000-point armies. Before that comes out, you'll see some footage from ReaperCon coming soon, but right now I need to catch up on reviews of some recent figure releases. First up, we have two releases in the P65 line. First one is an Owlbear. You probably remember this recently came out as a Warlord release for the Timberthill army, and from what I can tell it's the exact same miniature as was released before. There's really only two differences. One is the price. The P65 version is going to run you about $3 less, and the recipe or makeup of the metal that is used to cast the miniature is different. So the P65 one is going to be a little darker and a little heavier than the regular white metal release of it, but other than that, as far as I can tell, same miniature, same sculpt, goes together the same, detail is the same, so save a couple bucks going the P65 route, or you can get the original white metal version on the Warlord side. The next P65 release is a Gnoll Reaver, and this is also a reissue of a miniature that came out in the Warlord line. He is a Gnoll Reaver of Kargir, so he's from that faction from Savage North. Comes in 3 pieces just like the other figure. Again, same figure, same exact sculpt as far as I can tell, and again the only difference is price, and it's a little heavier model in the hand, but otherwise I found the detail to be the same. You're going to save about $6 buying the P65 line, so it really, I think, just comes down to a matter of if you want to save a couple dollars, or if you happen to like the white metal version or the P65 composition of the metal better. So really, customer's choice here. Pick whichever one you want to get. For me, I'll save the $6, but that's just me. Next up, we have 2 new releases in Reaper's Legendary Encounters line, and this is their line of pre-painted plastic figures, and all of them come from previous releases in metal that have been retooled and done in plastic and come pre-painted. First up is a pack of giant rats, and you get 3 of these guys in a blister, and you can see they're pretty much done in gray and pink and brown as the colors. They have little white teeth, so I guess that's a 4th color you've got on there, but all very passable, tabletop quality. If you have an encounter that's down in the sewers or some garbage-ridden place or something like that, I think these would be good there. You can also get these in Reaper's metal version, which you can see right here. So you can get 4 metal unpainted rats for $6.99, or you can get 3 painted plastic ones for $1 less. The next figure in this line is a Gnoll Warrior, and he is modeled after Boneflayer, a Gnoll Sergeant from the Warlord line, and I think it's a very good plastic adaptation or recreation, if you want, of the metal miniature. The weapon arm is moved a little bit, but I have no issue with that. I think it came out fine in the pre-painted version. You might put a wash over the fur just to give the colors a little bit more depth, but you can see here the unpainted metal version is about twice the price. The plastic is the sort of bendy plastic. It's not really super hard plastic like you get on most tabletop wargame miniatures, but very suitable for role-playing. I would even drop it into a Warlord game or any kind of game I was playing without a problem at all. I have no issue with the bendy plastic versus regular plastic for these kind of miniatures. And on to some Dark Heaven Legends releases now. First up is an accessory pack, and you get 2 sprues of bones in this bone pack, appropriately titled. Each one of the sprues is identical. You get a skull and a length of backbone, and you can see that in the center of the sprue here. And then off to the right side, you've got a rib cage and a skull, and then you've got various arm and leg bones in between there. Now, you don't have enough pieces here to make a full skeleton, but what I see the best use of it for is either to litter the base of a miniature with. Ghouls, zombies, chaos warrior types I think would do well having these kinds of things on their bases, or you could also use them as trophies of an evil warrior, maybe glue it onto his belt as a trophy or some grisly reminder of his latest kill. Here we have an Easter Mousling, and this is a single-piece miniature in the expanding line of Reaper's Mouslings, appropriate for the season for it to be an Easter Mousling. And you can see a painted version of it right here. It's a good addition to the line, and I think like some of the Mouslings, it's probably better suited to a diorama than an actual RPG kind of miniature, but I suppose if you had a mouse guard game where you had somebody carrying around a big egg, you could probably use it in that also. Not too long ago we saw a release of Classic Lizardmen. It was Lizardmen pack number 1, and here's the second pack. We've got 3 more single-piece Lizardmen miniatures here, and you can see from looking at them they're going to need some cleaning. There's little bits of flash from the casting process and some mold lines that are visible, but these, like the previous pack, are sort of your old school looking Lizardmen, so I would add these to the first group and you could bulk up a Lizardman encounter with them. You've got one with a sword and shield, one with a club and shield, and he's using some unfortunate victim's leg bone it looks like as his club, and then you have another one that's got a two-handed club. It looks like the head of the club or the hammer kind of weapon that he's got there is made out of stone, and these 3 will fit right in as far as style is concerned with the previous reissue of Lizardmen that came out not too long ago. And into the Chronoscope line now for some zombies, starting off with a Nazi zombie officer. And I really think that this guy was given away at ReaperCon a handful of years ago during Reich of the Dead demos, and you can play Reich of the Dead at ReaperCon this year if you go. But I think this guy originally came out then, because I've got one painted up somewhere. Anyway, it's a single-piece miniature of a Nazi zombie officer. He's carrying a Luger in his right hand, probably doesn't remember how to use it, or probably would just use it to club somebody with now. He's wearing a uniform that looks appropriate enough to me, definitely zombified. There's some mold lines around the perimeter of the figure, most noticeably on the arms and shoulder area that you'll need to clean off, but nothing too bad. And there's a little bit of extra metal down on his left hand from the casting process. But overall, not a lot of cleaning necessary here. Should paint up pretty quickly and easily. Good use in any kind of Weird War II game, whether it's RPG or tabletop game. If you want to play Reich of the Dead, Secrets of the Third Reich, if you're going to play AEWW2, any of those games, he'd be great as an addition on the German side. And here we have 2 more modern-looking zombies. We have Charlie and Linus. Charlie is over on the left-hand side and Linus over on the right-hand side, and they both look a little gimpy to me, like they've seen better days. They're both wearing what appears to be pretty normal clothes. Charlie has a jacket on and some jeans and maybe a t-shirt, and Linus looks like his vest or his jacket is wrapped around his waist, or at least was when he got zombified. Charlie is the least damaged of the 2 zombies here. It looks like his left knee got skinned a bit. You can see his jeans got torn there, and he's obviously a zombie just from the shallow look of his face, but he doesn't have a whole lot of damage to him. Linus, on the other hand, his neck or his throat has been torn out a bit, so there's some more obvious damage there. And his right elbow looks a little bit torn up, but neither one of them are missing limbs or anything like that. So both of them properly represent modern or near-future zombies. They're exactly what they look like here, so if you have a need for them, these will do just fine. And to round out this episode, we have what is probably my favorite figure of the episode, and this is Dee Dee. She's an Astro Girl, and this is a 2-piece miniature, but the second piece is just a very small jetpack that is sculpted as part of the casting tab. She is carrying 2 laser pistols or blasters and wearing a very retro sci-fi kind of outfit with a very blunt haircut. Very reminiscent of Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, old school Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers as far as I'm concerned. Excellent, very stylish looking model here. The jetpack, once you clip it off the base, glues easily into a spot on her back, and you can see there are some mold lines, but they're pretty small and pretty faint, so should not be a problem for cleaning. Even though she wouldn't necessarily fit into a game like Rogue Trader or Death Watch or something like that, I think in a D20 Future game or anything that's not as dark as a 40K kind of role-playing game, I think she would be perfect. It is an excellent miniature. The facial features are extremely well done. There's nothing I don't like about the figure, and I'd love to see a whole unit, or at least a couple of more guys and girls that are dressed in similar garb and jetpacks and the blaster pistols, maybe make a unit of these guys. Alright everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Reaper Minis TV. We'll see you next time.